How's it, guys? This is Davey FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. This week we'll be talking about Gameweek 9, including whether to take Salah out or not. As you can see on the bench there, I still have Mohamed Salah second on my bench. Don't think he's going to play against Brighton or Leicester. That's kind of the thing that I'm contemplating, is if he's out for Brighton as well, I think I might be taking him out, but if he's back for Brighton, could be a nice little captaincy option as well, considering how many people are taking him out. So if you do own Mo Salah, it's probably going to be your dilemma kind of the game week. Unfortunately, we already did our 2 free transfers at the start of the game week. We took Son out, we took Mitrovic out, we brought Bruno Fernandes in, and we brought Watkins in. And now everyone seems to have Bruno Fernandes and are captaining him. So our kind of little captaincy option that we were considering to be a little bit more differential has kind of gone out the window. And I think Fernandes right now is owned more than Salah. We can go check their 34.6% ownership, 28% ownership. So it's all these kind of differential matters that are playing into my mind. I'm seeing everyone kind of take Salah out, which is leaning me towards keeping him. But then I'm also looking at the fixtures coming up and the uncertainty around him. And that's kind of wanting to make me transfer him out. But we'll see. Maybe at the end of the stream, we'll be taking Salah out. I do think that I am leaning maybe 60-40% to taking him to KDB, just because KDB is a great captaincy option for the next 2 game weeks. Not this game week, but for 2 game weeks' time, I think that should be quite a good option. And I think that Man City should hopefully kind of go on to score more goals. They're not been the best attacking side recently, kind of scoring only 1 goal. But if KDB gets it, I kind of that's probably what we want as a captain kind of option. So as Gary Koo is saying, my team is looking awful, need to ship out. So that's probably why a lot of people are using their wild card as well. It was probably a popular week to use a wild card because of Salah being out and you wanted to kind of shift that budget around your team. But I think with most of the players that I have in my team, I probably would keep them on a wild card anyway. So that's why I wasn't leaning towards it. And especially because I had 2 free transfers. So I saw a lot of questions saying that I should wild card or should I not wild card. And that was kind of my say, is I've used my 2 free transfers to get 2 players I really wanted in. And I think they're going to be good shouts for the upcoming. So any Charlie Taylor updates? So we'll be talking about the players that are injured in this specific team because maybe you have them in your own team. But Charlie Taylor, so what the manager said is he's struggling with a little bit of an injury. It was a little bit unknown if it was a hamstring or if it was an Achilles injury. I think it might have been an Achilles injury, but apparently his muscle was just a little bit tight and the manager said he should be okay. Also take note that they do play on Monday, so it's an extended kind of a day of training that he can have. So I'm hoping that he should be fine. I think he should probably be about 80% fine. Maybe 20% that he does miss, but that's just something that we have to take on our chin because I'm not going to really take him out, and unfortunately that bench is looking absolutely terrible. Then on Sterling, so Sterling trained for the first time. There was also quite a lot of controversy there because obviously he dropped out of the England squad, but then suddenly he's back from injury for Man City. But I think he should be fine. I just don't know if he's going to be starting or not, but he will definitely come off the bench. I'm just kind of hoping that he does because I think against Spurs, Man City could do some damage. I think it's going to be really a good game, that one. So if you want to watch one game this game week, it's probably going to be that one. But I still think Sterling should be fine. And then Coleman's got that hamstring injury that he had a couple of game weeks ago, which is quite annoying because we kind of kept him because he was going to be back after the international break. Unfortunately, that's not the case. He seems to have kind of got that injury back. So I don't know how long he's going to be out for. Then Salah, obviously with him testing positive, is back in England, flew to London, I think, yesterday night, but he still hasn't tested negative. As soon as he tests negative, I think he should be back. It's just going to depend on whether his match fitness is up to scratch. And then finally, we have Ferguson there, who should be fine in a couple of game weeks. I think he still has that injury that's kind of keeping him out, and I don't know how long it's going to keep him out for, but apparently in an interview he said short term he's going to be fine. So Slamming UK saying it's surprising in times like these you haven't used a wild card. So I know a lot of people probably don't know why I'm not using my wild card, but I just don't know what I would do with it. Definitely what I would do is take Steer out. Steer is 100% a regret right now because what he's doing is he's blocking the Grealish transfer. So that's quite annoying because obviously I already have Martinez, Steer, and Watkins. So that's definitely one of the moves I would do on a wild card is I'd take Steer out. But other than that, Fernandes would stay. Sterling might take him out for KDB, don't know. But the front line, except for Raul Jimenez and Podence, who I might actually have to give another game week after this one, which is really annoying because every single game week I'm kind of like, I'm going to give them one more game week and then I'll take them out and then something else happens. But the whole Salah situation really kind of skewed up my plans quite badly. Also saw a couple of questions there on Callum Wilson. So I don't know much about Callum Wilson, but I think that he did miss training. You can correct me if I'm wrong, someone in chat. But if you remember, before the international break, he picked up an injury in that last fixture. I don't know if it was a hamstring or not, but I don't know if he's going to be starting. So if you do own him, just maybe keep your eyes on that. But surely there must have been news from the press conferences this week to whether he is going to be out or not. Do you think Mitchell will start this game week? So he could start. I think that's going to be kind of the question from now to the end of the season, is whether Patrick van Arnold's going to start or Mitchell will start. The thing is, Van Arnold didn't play that well in the last game week, I think. So maybe he'll be taken off and Mitchell will start. But I would just probably play him, because I don't think if he's on the bench, he's going to come on anyway. Rashford or De Bruyne on a free hit. So if you on a free hit, which is quite an exciting chip to be using this week, I don't know if I would be going for the Man City options. I think there's other fixtures around the league that have better kind of options and better teams to go for. I think that Spurs game and Man City game has the potential to be quite close, and that doesn't really lead to FPL points. So if I was on a wild card, I probably would split that budget up. I probably wouldn't go for Sterling or De Bruyne, and I would probably just spread that budget in the forward department, maybe bring in someone like Vardy, and maybe bring in some more high premium defenders who you think are going to do well. So I probably would lean a little bit more towards Rashford. That is going to be kind of a thing that you have to look at with the whole injury situation that he's been in, because he did pick up a knock, but he was training, I think, in the last session. Jake saying PVA did play well, fake news, so apologies for that. I think it was the game week before that. The first game week he came back from injury. I don't think he played that well, but if he played well the last game week, then I don't think Mitchell will start. Differential captain Richarlison. So the thing is, if one of the players from a team is a good option and their kind of counterpart that is equaling them on stats, I know Richarlison isn't getting as many stats, as many shots and that kind of thing as Calvert-Lewin. But if Calvert-Lewin's a good captaincy option, then Richarlison automatically becomes a good captaincy option. So if you have Richarlison, I would definitely be looking at him, especially if you don't own Fernandes, because that's kind of what my two captains I would look at, is either Fernandes or Calvert-Lewin. Some people are also looking at Mane. I know Mane has a good history against Leicester and he usually does quite well, but I don't know if I'd be opting for him that much. I think that Bruno Fernandes and Calvert-Lewin are definitely better options to go for. If you want a safe captaincy option to go for, just go for Calvert-Lewin, because I think he's basically guaranteed to get a goal this week. And as Mohammed's saying there, would you captain DCL if you didn't have Bruno Fernandes? 100% I would. I just can't see another player in my team that I would captain instead of him. I could go for Chilwell if you want to go for a defender. I think he's got quite a high ceiling this week. We saw last game week, he managed to get a goal, but imagine if he got the clean sheet as well. It would have been an absolute massive haul there. So Chilwell could be an option, but I probably would lean more towards Calvert-Lewin or Bruno Fernandes. But if I didn't have Fernandes, I would go for Calvert-Lewin, because he's a really safe option, as I said. Are you going to transfer out Salah this week? I probably am. I'm just kind of waiting for as long as possible. I don't want to make the move and then suddenly Mohamed Salah tests negative 5 minutes before the deadline, and then he's going to be basically starting against Brighton next game week. So I'll probably leave it for as long as possible, and I would appreciate it if you guys see anything on Twitter. Just tell me basically, and let me know that Mohamed Salah is out or in. When are you planning to wildcard? So I'm pretty much planning currently, although this isn't a strat that's kind of in stone, as people say, probably around game week 16, which is the last game week that you can use your first wildcard, because apparently I've been kind of following Ben Crellin, but Ben Crellin's plan of double game weeks and blanks has kind of gone up in the air a little bit, because he hasn't been 100% confirmed on it. But from the plan at the start of the season, apparently, because of those game week 1 blanks, there was going to be a blank game week around game week 17, 18, and then a double game week around that time as well. So my plan was to wildcard, free hit in that blank game week, because it was going to be quite a big blank game week, and then my wildcard would have set me up for that double game week. Thanks Optimus Prime for dropping in. Ziyech or Bruno for captaincy? I would go towards Bruno personally. I know a lot of people are saying that his home form is absolutely terrible, but if you got to look at the teams they've played Crystal Palace, okay, first game week of the season, maybe a little bit of an anomaly there, but then they played Spurs, they played Chelsea, they played Arsenal. Those are top 6 sides, inverted commas. I know some of the sides are sitting mid-table this season, but those are top 6 clashes, and they've all been home. I mean, look at the away games: Brighton, Newcastle, Everton. He's got double-digit hauls, not triple-digit, imagine, double-digit hauls in all of those games, and I definitely think that West Brom are on par with these opponents that he's faced from an away point of view. So that's why I'm leaning towards Bruno Fernandes. I think his ceiling might be a little bit more higher than Calvert-Lewin's, but I think that both of these two assets are good options for captaincy. Aubameyang captaincy as a differential, that's something that people have been kind of talking about on Twitter because he definitely is a differential. A lot of people have gone off Aubameyang. I do think you could go for him. If you have him, I would look at a captaincy because if you own him, I mean, you might as well. You're owning him from a differential point of view, so you might as well captain him as well. But if you have Bruno Fernandes or Calvert-Lewin, it might be a little bit of a safer option. If you want a really differential captain, then go for him. But there could still be some safety with going with Fernandes or Calvert-Lewin. Mitchell or Basuma, I would probably lean towards Mitchell. Basuma, I know the last time I said this, I was like, Basuma, no chance he's going to do anything. Then he banged in a volley from outside the box. So maybe I'll say it again. I'll say Basuma's definitely not going to do anything this game week, and that's going to jinx him. But I would probably lean a little bit more towards going for a Mitchell over Basuma. I mean, you might as well. As I said, if Mitchell doesn't start, I don't think he comes on unless there's an injury. G-Ball saying, how's it, Dave? No international break till March. Good riddance. I'm sure you're elated that as a Liverpool fan, not been the best 2 weeks. So it hasn't been the best 2 game weeks in terms of injuries. But kind of the best solution to this is just get a win against Leicester, and then I'll be perfectly happy. But unfortunately, it's been quite a rough 2 weeks with all those injuries. And it's quite annoying. I think if we manage to not win the Premier League this season because of injuries, I'm going to be quite annoyed. But there's a lot of good teams this season as well. Kilman or Basuma, I would probably lean a little bit more towards Kilman just because of Wolves' defending stats. I know that they haven't been the best going forward, but from a defensive point of view, they haven't been the worst in the world. So I would probably lean towards him because the thing is, I think there's a better chance of him getting a clean sheet than Basuma getting an attacking return. Looking to transfer out Podence, asked Dennis. I was also looking to take out Raul Jimenez next game week, but this whole Salah situation has kind of put that transfer completely out of order, and now I'm looking to maybe give them one more game week next game week, and then I'll look to take them out. Because the thing is, if I take Salah out, I want to bring Salah back in for that Fulham fixture in game week, I think it's game week 13, so I'm going to need some cash there, so I'll probably downgrade Raul Jimenez to a player like Bamford. Would you captain Werner if you had him? Not if I had Bruno Fernandes. I think if I didn't have Bruno Fernandes and I owned Werner and Calvert-Lewin, then I would be tempted. But because I own Bruno Fernandes, I think Bruno Fernandes is a better captaincy option. I don't think Werner's a bad captaincy option at all, though. So if you have him, I mean, you kept him for this long, so you can go for him. Lawazi saying, Podence out, Jota in. I wish I could do that transfer. I would definitely do that. But unfortunately, I just don't have the cash in the bank. I've got 0 in the bank right now, so I can't upgrade Podence, who's 5.5, to a Diego Jota at about 6.6, I think. Just curious, if you didn't make the early transfers, what transfers would you have done? That's a really good question there, Flappy. So the transfers I would have probably done is I would have taken Salah out for Bruno Fernandes, and then I would have done the same move for Watkins. So I really wasn't favoring Mitrovic. He just wasn't doing it for me. So I would have taken him out as well, but I would have instead kept Son, and I would have taken Salah out, because the current situation that I'm in now is I want to take Salah out as well for a -4. So I would have saved myself that -4 hit, and I also would have had Son, who could still do something against Man City. So a good question there, and that's probably what hopefully I've answered it as to the best of my ability. Is Veltman a good budget defender option? So. I think anyone, as long as they're nailed in that Brighton defense, is a good enough captaincy option. I mean, 4.5 is not the worst, most expensive budget in the world. And if he gets a couple of clean sheets, Brighton haven't looked that bad defensively this season. So I don't think it's the worst option in the world. So at those 4.5 brackets, you kind of just have to go for one and stick it. KDB or Sterling, please. I would go for Kevin De Bruyne 100% of the time. I just have Sterling here because he was a little bit more of a differential. I've kind of forgotten why I have Sterling. So if someone can remind me. But I think it probably would have been a transfer in the previous game weeks. Maybe I had KDB as well. I probably did, and then he got injured, and then I went to Sterling. But I would definitely go for Kevin De Bruyne. Optimus Prime saying, let's have fun. -8 Salah, Barnes, and Kane out for Fernandes, KDB, and Watkins in. Fernandes, my captain, try to go ahead of Man City's good fixture. Salah will come back at game week 12. So that's the whole thing. If you're going to, that's the why I'm not too against taking Salah out for Kevin De Bruyne, because I think Kevin De Bruyne in the next 2 game weeks, not only is a better captaincy option than Sterling, who I own, but I think over those next 2 is a better captaincy option than Salah. And then I can always just bring Salah back in game week 13 or 12 whenever they do have Fulham. I think it might be game week 12 then. Would you start Klich or Wilson? So Adam, unfortunately, the only kind of conclusion to that is going to be if Callum Wilson's out, because I think currently Callum Wilson is out, and that's the thing, is you might as well just play him, because if he's injured, he's not going to come on anyway. So I would just probably start him, but I don't really know. I'm not that caught up on that whole Newcastle press conference. Rilvan saying, Mane COVID to Sterling is the move you made. So thank you for that. Unfortunately, that brings me back to the memory of Mane getting COVID, unfortunately. How's it, CJ? How are you doing, buddy? 14 minutes. That is 14 minutes till the deadline. I don't know. What do you guys say in chat? You can drop keep Salah or sell Salah to KDB. I'd appreciate your guys' feedback on that one. Because I'm a little bit up in the air of what to do. I think I'm leaning towards selling him, but maybe if the chat convinces me, then I can keep him. Thoughts on Nathaniel Klein? As far as I know, Jake, I think Nathaniel Klein's a fine option to go for, but if there was maybe a more defensive option, maybe Van Arnold if he manages to keep his place. But I don't think Klein's the worst option in the world. I actually might be mixing up Van Arnold and Klein with their bad performances, because I think it was Klein who might have had the bad performance in his first game week for Crystal Palace. So yeah, apologies for that if I mixed up Van Arnold and Nathaniel Klein. Ziyech or Bruno captain. Man United's home record is terrible, so I would still go for Bruno Fernandes. As I've said, I mean, you could look at the away form and home form, but if you look at the home teams they've played, Crystal Palace, maybe an anomaly. They've played Spurs, Chelsea, and Arsenal at home. Those are tough fixtures to go by. So that's why I'm not looking into the whole home-away form too much. Captain Bruno Vardy, I would lean towards Bruno. I think Vardy's still a good shot, but I think Vardy probably, I'm leaning more towards him getting 1 goal and not 2 or 3, whereas I think the ceiling might be a little bit higher for Bruno Fernandes. Jojo's Revenge 2 saying, Callum Wilson may not start, no playing bench, 2.4 defender and 4.5 mid, -4 to strengthen and play a bench player over Wilson. Also have double Chelsea defense, 4 million in the bank. Okay, no playing bench, -4 to strengthen and play a bench. Okay, so you want to play a bench player. I don't really understand the question that much, but what you could maybe do, if you could afford it, you could maybe take your 4.5 mid to Diego Jota, because he's going to be starting, Jojo. So thank you for the £5, but I don't know if I'm exactly answering your question that much, because I don't really understand it. So you got no playing bench, 2 4 million defenders, and a 4.5 mid, -4 to strengthen. Okay, so what I would do is I would take your 4.5 mid to Diego Jota. I think that's a simple move. That's pretty good. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Walper, appreciate it. Thank you for Optimus Prime for reminding you guys to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. Should I start Lampty or Robertson? I would go for Robertson in this case. I think that's just probably a better move to go for. Maybe, I mean, Lamptey's a good shot, but if you still have Robertson, I don't think I would be benching him, Edmund. Do you think I should remove Son or Salah for Bruno for a -4? I'm not sure if I want to keep Bruno or Grealish after I get Bruno in. So I would do the -4 for Salah if you want to go for either Son or Salah, because Son's still playing. So it just makes sense, Manash, to take out Salah instead, because right now he's definitely not playing against Brighton, and he might not play. Oh no, he's definitely not playing against Leicester. He might not play against Brighton, whereas Son is definitely going to start against Man City. Salah will be an essential option to captain in future game weeks. Who else will you captain if you don't have him? So the thing with Salah is I don't think I'll be captaining him over Wolves or Brighton. I'll bring him in for Fulham. I'll work out a way to bring him in for Fulham, and then I can always captain him in that game. If I take him to Kevin De Bruyne, that's who I'll captain in the next two, because they have Burnley and they have Fulham at home. Some people also talk about the Champions League kind of being a little bit of a hindrance to Man City, as maybe a player will be benched in the Premier League for the Champions League, but I don't think that's going to be the option, as Man City are currently top of their league. Justin or Basuma? So I can understand why that's quite hard. I'll probably just lean towards Basuma in that case, because Justin's playing Liverpool, and I think basically Liverpool right now have to score a lot of goals to win the game, because their defense isn't going to be that good. Is Kane fixture-proof? I think Kane is fixture-proof. It's not whether Kane is not fixture-proof or fixture-proof. As I said in my preview, it's just if you think other players are going to do better. So Kane is not going to stop scoring, but he just might not have as high a ceiling against these tougher opposition than he had against the weaker opposition. Because you must remember that relatively Spurs fixtures have been easy. And now they face some better teams, which is going to be which is going to show their resilience. Basically, if Man City can come out of this, or if Spurs can come out of this next couple on top of things, then I do think they're going to be challenging for the title. But I think he's definitely fixture proof. But it's just whether other players have better options or better fixtures than him. Lock those teams in. Elvis is saying 8 minutes to the deadline. So I think we're going to be doing this move, guys. Unfortunately, we're going to be taking Mohamed Salah out of the team. We didn't start the season with Mohamed Salah, which was kind of a bad thing. So hopefully this doesn't come to backfire too much. but I will be taking Salah out for Kevin De Bruyne. So let's just go and find him here. Not that good that he's that far down here, but maybe he can pick it up over the next couple. So we'll be doing the Salah to the KDB move. Not too affected by the price rise that he had last night because Salah was going to drop anyway, which he didn't. So not too much in that 0.1. Are you removing Salah? About to go, please answer. So I will be removing Salah. I'm going to be taking him to Kevin De Bruyne. Unless we get news in the next 5 minutes or something crazy, then I would maybe consider keeping him. Bruno Vardy or Rashford on a free hit. I would go for Werner in that case. Just because I think he's got a better fixture, got a higher ceiling than the others, and Rashford is rumored to maybe be out, maybe be starting. We just don't know whether he's going to be starting. Who's the best defensive options to rotate in and out? Asked Jack Jones. So I don't really know. I would probably have to do that in a video where I look at the specific fixtures, but I don't really have a good rotation plan right now. But what I probably would recommend is go for a West Ham option, go for an Aston Villa option. You can look at Southampton as well. They're pretty good. And then I would also include a Leeds defender because whenever they have a good fixture, they usually do quite well. Do you think getting Mane for Sterling is a good move? I think it's a good move as long as you don't want Salah, because that's my whole situation. Is I could go for Mane, but the thing is I want Salah back in 2 game weeks time. So if I get Mane in, I might not want Salah in the future. So that's why I'm kind of not blocking off that move. Is big at the back still viable? I don't think it's that viable this season because of just how bad some teams have been defensively. I think Chelsea, if you went from the start of the season, maybe a Chelsea asset, a double up would have been quite profitable. But right now, with the tougher fixtures coming up, I don't know if I would go for it right now. How's it, Davey? When are you bringing in Vardy? So I don't really have a plan for Vardy right now, but maybe in the future. Maybe I'm kind of taking every game week at a time because, I mean, if Salah came out this game week, maybe he misses something else. Is Salah 100% out for Brighton? He's not 100% out for Brighton, but what I'm kind of thinking of is I'm thinking of him being out this game week and potentially being out next game week. And then I'm fine with having KDB and taking a hit for him because I'm going to captain him anyway. Why is your defense bad? So my defense is bad because we took a punt on Coleman coming back. He came back for a fixture against United. Then he managed to get injured again. So otherwise, it would have been quite a good week for our defense. But because of that injury, it's not looking too good. Do I take Mitrovic out for Watkins for a -8? I don't know if I would be doing it for a -8, Gary, unless you can only afford it right now and you can't really afford other price rises and then you're not going to be able to get him in. But I don't think I'll be doing a -8 for him because Mitrovic still could score a goal. Werner, Rashford, or Mane captain, I would probably go for Werner out of those 3. I would have gone for Rashford if he was fit. Vincent saying, you legend, any electricity outages? Not yet, Vincent, but thanks for catching up and asking me. Do I take Mitrovic out for Watkins, Gary? I think I answered your question already. Should I keep Walker-Peters or change him to another 4.5 like Target? I'm wildcarding. So the thing with Walker-Peters is the fixtures are still quite good. I would definitely keep him because Southampton have been quite good defensively. Sell Salah to Diego Jota, keep Liverpool cover. I could do that, Del Boy. The only thing is I'm probably going to captain KDB in the next 2. So that's why I'm leaning towards him. Will Harvey Barnes play? I think so, unless he's injured. Okay, let me make this transfer now, though. You see at -4, we'd be taking Salah to Kevin De Bruyne, so we're going to confirm that. Going to bring Kevin De Bruyne on for Basuma, and then we're just going to change the vice-captaincy to Kevin De Bruyne as well. So we still have Basuma on the bench, but I don't think he's going to be coming on. Hopefully not. The thing is that the one player to miss out is probably going to be Taylor, so Basuma won't come on anyway because we need minimum of 3 defenders. Mane captain, also a good shout to go for. Have you already taken it? I haven't taken a hit, so I had 2 free transfers this week. I did Son and Mitrovic to Fernandes and Watkins, and so this is going to be my -4. Loazi saying, let's press that like before the deadline. You can. I don't think it's going to do too much because 5 minutes before the deadline, I know too many people are going to be popping in here, but I do appreciate the shout out there, Loazi. Rumors that Rashford will not play today, says Optimus Prime. But as you said there in your comment, it is only rumors. So if he starts, I think it's a good shot. But the thing is with Rashford is if he is injured, I don't think he's going to be coming off the bench. So I wouldn't be too worried about going for a captaincy on him if you do own him. Lampty or Kilman, I think I would definitely go for. Let's just check the fixture that Brighton have. They play Aston Villa. So maybe if you have Watkins and Grealish as a double up, I wouldn't be looking at playing Lampty. But if you only own one of them, I still think Lamptey's a good shot because he still has an attacking threat in him. Is PVA essential? I don't think he's essential. because I think right now there is a little bit up in the air whether he's going to keep his place. I think personally that he will, but there always is kind of an option there. Is Mitchell back? Mitchell is back. He was training. It's just going to kind of depend on whether he starts. Lincoln saying, good luck, Davey. Thanks, Lincoln. You too, buddy. Diaz or Lampty? I would probably lean towards just going for Diaz there. Sorry, not Diaz. Diaz. Because I think the chance of Man City getting a clean sheet is probably a little bit higher, maybe. Should I start Target or Lampty? I would start Target in that case. Because it is a home fixture for Aston Villa, and they've been quite defensively resilient. Vardy versus Kane. I would go for Vardy in this case, Andre, because Vardy plays Fulham next week. So he's probably the best captaincy option next week as well. So that's what I kind of would go for. Kilman or Justin. Go for Kilman 100%. Vardy or Bruno captain. Go for Bruno. Bruno is my favorite captaincy option this week, along with Calvert-Lewin. I think that Vardy's a good shout. I think he's going to get a goal, but I don't know how hard he's going to be. If you're there saying, what's your Jimenez plan? If you're there, I wish that I could tell you, but unfortunately, the Salah situation kind of messed me up quite badly because I was planning to take out Raul Jimenez and Podence out next game week. But now, since we may be looking at saving transfers for Salah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But I think I probably would take Raul Jimenez to go for Bamford and then try and get Salah back in for game week 12. Do I captain Grealish or Bruno? Manas, you kind of talking yourself out of it by you saying that they have a terrible home record. You're already kind of leaning towards Grealish. So if you're thinking that, go for Grealish. But in my opinion, I don't think that home form correlates well because they have played tough opposition at home than away. So that's kind of my whole thing on it. But just go for whatever you think is going to do well. Mitchell or Kilman to start. I would probably lean towards Mitchell just a tad there. I don't think if he does start, I think he's got a better chance of a clean sheet. And if he doesn't start, I don't think he's going to come off the bench. So you'll get Kilman anyway. No worries, Manas. Thanks for dropping by. Just as saying, check Bruno's goal minutes in the matches where he brought points. So that's the thing is, if you don't want to go for him, you don't have to per se. It's your team. So I personally think that he's a good captain option. But at the end of this game week, we're going to have hindsight and see. What do you think of Crystal Palace defense? I think that they look quite good because of the fixtures that they have in the upcoming game week. So I would look at them, but maybe if you're on a wild card or you really don't have any other fires to put out. Sold Bamford for Watkins, says Phoenix. That's quite a maverick move there. I don't think too many people would have done that. Jean saying captain Jimenez. Maybe. I think if I've kept him for this long, I should have some faith in him. Oliver saying my captain is DCL due to Everton having a full squad back. That is correct. And the thing you must remember, though, with that whole squad being back is I know that they're going to be a better side overall, but maybe the goals will be shared now. So there is always two ways to the kind of the coin. It's nearly the deadline there. 1 minute till the deadline. I've triple captain Bruno. Thoughts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a refresh here to just make sure the whole team is set. It doesn't look the best. We've got a couple of red flags, a couple of yellow flags there, but it's kind of the best we have. I'm going to be going for the Bruno Fernandes captain with the De Bruyne vice captain. No worries, lightweights. Cheers for dropping by. Cancelo or Kilman, I would go for Cancelo, and Bamford or Watkins, I would go for Watkins. Salah to Aubameyang. Actually, I would only do that if you want to captain Aubameyang. Otherwise, I don't think so. The deadline, unfortunately, has been hit, guys. So I do appreciate all of you guys that have been dropping by. The chat was going quite quickly today, so apologies if I didn't get your questions in. Deadline over, Kufal or Kilman. I would probably have gone more towards Kufal in that case, so hopefully you did. A lot of questions kind of around the bench options here, which usually is a good sign because the big decisions have been accounted for. So if you're really depending on who to bench out of your 4.5 defenders, I don't think your team looks that bad. So I wouldn't be worrying too much on that case, but hopefully this week is going to be as predicted. I mean, with Salah being out, it was quite an unpredictable game week, but hopefully the captaincy options that we have decided, it's going to be interesting to see the kind of stats for the captaincy, because I think Bruno Fernandes definitely will be the highest captain, but then also have players like DCL, Grealish, maybe even a De Bruyne people were looking at. So it's going to be interesting to see. But thanks for, as I said, for those of you guys who dropped by, popped your questions in, popped your likes and subscribes. I really do appreciate all the support that's been up. And hopefully this game week's going to be a good one. And hopefully that kind of ever-evading green arrow that has not been reaching us finally hits with a massive haul from Bruno Fernandes against West Bromwich Albion. I'm going to be signing off. It's been Davey FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.